Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and I make videos about health and fitness and all of those things, endurance sports. So if that's something that you're into, you should go on down there, find that little red rectangle that says subscribe and hit that button. Fun fact from first grade, all rectangles are parallelograms, but not all parallelograms are rectangles. I know, that's just riveting stuff, isn't it? And all the geometry literature, it all says because of that fact that you should probably subscribe to this channel. Don't fact check that, that's just YouTube science. Just you accept that for what it is. And the fact that I'm a moron. And the fact that this moron really appreciates you watching this video. But today we are going through the second installment of the fastest way to level up on Zwift with route badges. If you haven't seen the first video, I'm going to link it up here. I highly recommend checking out that one first because I talk about the route badge structure, a couple of nuances that aren't obvious, and of course I go through Watopia, the biggest and most popular world in the game. So definitely check that one out first. And I'm going to put all these videos in a playlist together so they will be easy for you to pick and choose and find what you need. Today we are going to go through London and Richmond, so this video is going to be quite a bit shorter as the worlds are much smaller, so it'll be much more digestible, as will the remainder of the series. Quick piece of housekeeping information though. In the last video I talked about Alp to Zwift. What I didn't mention to you guys that every time you get to the top of the Alp or go through the arch, you're going to get 250 experience points. Even if you've already unlocked the badge, you will still get those points when you spin the wheel. If you happen to land on the Meilensteins, even if you've already unlocked the Meilensteins, you do have a shot at getting 1,000 experience points. It's just not the most efficient way to earn points even with that bonus, so I didn't really stress that. There's a lot of areas in the game where you can get experience points. This is more centralized on the most efficient and fastest way to level up if that's something that you're looking to get out of Zwift. But we'll get right into London and Richmond, and we'll talk about what you can expect to find on course. So we'll kick it off with London, the second most popular world in the game, and rightfully so. You're going to find a lot of variety and scenery in this world. And you are going to start with Classique, which is a short, flat, and fast circuit through the center of the city of London, 5.4 kilometers or 3.4 miles, 19 meters of elevation or 62 feet. And while it's a short course, you're still going to have a longer lead-in, which is 5.7 kilometers or 3.5 miles, longer than the course itself, and that will earn you 110 experience points. Next on the list, we have Greater London 8. It's going to take you around a figure 8 covering along the Thames, around the city of London and through the base of Surrey Hills and up Box Hill, 23.8 kilometers or 4.8 miles, 256 meters of elevation or 840 feet. Again, that longer lead-in at 5.7 kilometers or 3.5 miles, and this will earn you a total of 480 experience points. Next up, we have Greater London Flat. This is going to focus around the city of London itself, 11.6 kilometers or 7.2 miles, 45 meters of elevation or 148 feet of climbing. Again, that long lead-in, 5.7 kilometers or 3.5 miles, and this will earn you 230 experience points. Next up, you have Greater London Loop, very similar to Greater London 8, but you do change directionality halfway through the course because you're no longer doing that figure 8, and that's going to be 21 kilometers or 13 miles, 244 meters of elevation or 801 feet. Again, you're going to be hitting Box Hill towards the end of the ride. Lead-in is half of a kilometer this time, or 0.3 miles, and this will earn you 420 experience points. Next up, we have Greatest London Flat. It's a slightly longer flat course than the prior two, and it's 23.6 kilometers or 14.7 miles, 147 meters of elevation or 482 feet. You have a long lead-in, 7.5 kilometers or 4.7 miles. This is a trend here in the London courses, and you are going to earn 500 experience points. The next course we have is the Greatest London Loop, which will take you along the entire perimeter of the London world as it stands right now. It's 25.6 kilometers or 15.9 miles, 345 meters of elevation or 1,132 feet, which you are going to find by climbing Leith Hill. Your lead-in is only a half of a kilometer or 0.3 of a mile, and this will earn you 510 experience points. Next course on the list is London 8, another figure 8 course, but you're only doing the Classique portion of the city of London rather than the perimeter. It's 20.3 kilometers or 12.6 miles, 255 meters of elevation or 837 feet, again earned on Box Hill. Your lead-in is a half of a kilometer or 0.3 of a mile, and this will earn you 410 experience points. Next up, we have London Loop. It's just going to bypass the city of London, 14.9 kilometers or 9.3 miles, 220 meters of elevation or 722 feet, again Box Hill. Lead-in is half of a kilometer, 0.3 of a mile, and you are going to earn 300 experience points. The next course we have is a nice jaunt around Surrey Hills area, so you're going to be facing a lot in climbing on this course. It's 44.1 kilometers of elevation or 27.4 miles. You're going to do 1,029 meters of climbing, or 3,376 feet, which is earned on several climbs up Box Hill as well as Leith Hill. And your lead-in is a long one at 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles. And just to be clear, you're going to do that lead-in up Fox Hill. So your lead-in is actually going to be a climb to the top of the KOM. So be aware of that and budget for that time accordingly, because it's not as short in time as the lead-in distance would have it suggest. The experience points you will earn on this course is 820. Next up, we have the London Pretzel, which is a slightly longer course on the London World, which just kind of takes you along all of the roads. You're going to go up Fox Hill and Box Hill, which is just Box Hill forward and reverse, 55.6 kilometers, 34.5 miles, 531 meters of elevation, or 1,742 feet. Your lead-in is only a half of a kilometer or 3/10 of a mile, and this one's a nice big pull at 1,100 experience points. This next course is where dreams go to die. This is the PRL Full, and you are just going to continue to loop this circuit up and over Box Hill 11 times. I said that 11 times. It is horrible, it is long, it is boring. If you can find a group to ride this one with, I would highly recommend setting up a meetup or waiting for a group to do this, because it is horrible alone. It is 173 kilometers or 107.5 miles, 2,496 meters of elevation, or 8,189 feet. Your lead-in, thank God, is only a half of a kilometer or 3/10 of a mile, and this is your biggest earner in the entire game, 3,460 experience points for the PRL Full. Next one on the list is the PRL Half, and the last time I checked, 4 is not half of 11, so it's not a true half, but it's still a rather difficult course and very grating and kind of boring. 69 kilometers or 42.9 miles, 954 meters of elevation, or 3,130 feet. Your lead-in is a half of a kilometer or 3/10 of a mile, and a nice chunk of points at 1,380. And the last course in London is Triple Loops. It just kind of serpentines you around the area so you can see a little bit of everything in London. 40.8 kilometers, 25.4 miles, 544 meters of elevation, or 1,785 feet, which will be earned on a climb up Leith Hill as well as Box Hill. Your lead-in is a half of a kilometer, 3/10 of a mile, and you are going to earn 810 experience points. Now moving into Richmond, which is a favorite course amongst racers. A lot of flat, fast courses, a lot of strategic racing involved with a nice little climb that might snap your legs into a million little pieces if you're not careful. But the first course on the list, obviously, would be the 2015 UCI World Course, which takes you all along the entire area of Richmond. 16.2 kilometers or 10.1 miles, 142 meters of elevation, or 466 feet. Your lead-in is only a half of a kilometer or 0.3 miles, and this will earn you 320 experience points. Next on the list is Cobbled Climbs. It just takes you along the area focused on the Libby Hill climb, which is just a short, punchy little climb, but be prepared for it because it's nice and steep. 9.2 kilometers or 5.7 miles, 126 meters of elevation, or 413 feet. A lead-in of 3/10 of a kilometer, or 2/10 of a mile, and you are going to earn 180 experience points. And the third and final course of Richmond is the Fan Flats, just taking you along the flatter portion of the roads. A nice flat course for racing. It is 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles, 13 meters of elevation, or 43 feet. Your lead-in is going to be longer at 4.3 kilometers or 2.7 miles, and this will earn you 100 experience points. So that'll close up London and Richmond. Next up, we will tackle New York City and Innsbruck, and I'll close up the series with Yorkshire, Paris, and France. So you'll be able to get a glimpse into all of the worlds on Zwift. If you're watching this video right when it's being released, I hope that you all had a great holiday season as we enter the new year. Hopefully 2021 has better things in store for us all. If you got some value out of this video, if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button, it's really helping the algorithm to put these videos in front of other users, especially new people to Zwift, so that they can get what they need out of the platform. If you want some more videos on Zwift, you can check out these ones right here. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.